Welcome to a new daily top Askreddit video. Today's topic: what fucked up thing did you do as a kid? I used to pee on my brother's bed in the morning so I would get first crack at video games or TV while he helped clean up his mess. Update: I did not pee on my brother, I used to make sure that I was peeing away from him and on top of the covers. This occurred just a couple of times, probably coinciding with some video game we rented for the weekend. I'm sure my parents were aware something was off about the whole thing, but they never let on and now don't recall being suspicious of me. I've told the story to my family and we laugh about it now. My brother doesn't recall wetting the bed at that age. I am sorry for what I did, it was selfish action. But watching him playing video games wrong was very frustrating as a kid. Thank you for the shower of gold, kind strangers. Wow, this one really made it under the radar. This is some supervillain origin story shit. Yes, he became the golden showerer. I was absolutely terrible to the first man my mom dated after she and my father split. Really terrible. I once told the man, in the middle of dinner and apropos of nothing, that I hated him and hoped he died in a car wreck on the way home. Said calmly, with a straight face. That man did nothing wrong, was always good to me. I still feel terrible about it more than 20 years later. Did you apologize to him? I did. Ran into him at a gas station years later and told him how sorry I was for being such an awful little shit to him. When I was 5 I had hair down to my ass. I was tired of my mom brushing it so I cut it all off and peed on it in a bucket. When I was 5 I had hair down to my ass. I was tired of my mom brushing it so I cut it all off. Understandable, a lot of us would have done the S. And peed on it in a bucket. Okay then. How else are you going to assert dominance over the hair? Misread as 5-year-old with hairy ass long enough to brush. WTF. I'd be angry too. I'm glad I'm not the only one who read it like that. Pooped my pants when I was like 5. Didn't want to tell anyone, so I dropped it in the heater duct in my room. House got sold and we moved away not long after, unrelated. Nice surprise to the new owners. My old man had a house where one room above the garage always had a weird sticky smell in winter. One day he had to dismantle the ducting in the garage to get at something in the ceiling. There was one point in the duct where it U-ed around a beam. When he took that down, they got a good whiff of the source of the smell. Apparently the former owner hamster had escaped into the duct and got trapped in the U. When the heating came on, it was blowing the smell of decaying hamster into the bedroom above. Burnt down a field of dry grass next to my house and almost burned my neighbor's house and my house down with it. You could be my friend Matt. I could be, but my name is Jason. My friend and I almost burned down a Payless shoes. We were trying to burn our school books after 8th grade, back out by their trash area. The trash area was full of shredded paper that caught fire from the embers. Luckily the FD got there and handled it before it spread into the store, but they did evacuate. Didn't get caught either. You kept me from getting my Erlks, man. On 1991, after seeing Mike Tyson getting arrested on the news, I asked my dad what rape was, and he told me it meant hurting a girl. So you can picture 7 to 8-year-old me, running to the teacher to say stuff like, "Teacher, come. Jack, John and George are raping Molly on the playground." Or threatening my classmates with rape if they were annoying me, boys included, cause I thought this way I was also insulting them by calling them girls. Edit. The final straw for the teacher was when 2 kids on my classroom were fighting and I teased one of them with a sarcastic tone, "Oh poor you, you don't like getting raped." The teacher ran towards me, like, "What did you just say?" So I explained to her, still teasing him, "Well, Ms. Sarah, he's like a girl, so we rape him instead of hitting him." I remember my dad reading the Bible to us one night and I asked what a virgin was. He said it meant a girl who had never slept with a man. I thought he meant literally sleep because I was like 4, and whatever the context was implied that being a virgin was a good thing, so I felt bad for not being a virgin because sometimes I had nightmares and slept in my parents' bed. I hate when parents do this. I understand you want to protect your kid from inappropriate topics, but don't lie to them to avoid a slightly awkward conversation. This is a much lighter version of this story, but my mom is notoriously super sarcastic. She received one of those gift tins of popcorn from someone she didn't like very much when I was a young child. I was reading the label and asked what gourmet was and what it meant. She pronounced it and then said it means cheap. I spent the next 8 or so years of my life thinking gourmet was a synonym for cheap because my mom was being snippy about a bad gift mayo. I only found out because the frugal gourmet was on TV and I asked my grandma what frugal meant and she said cheap, and in my resultant confusion about a show named Cheap Cheap the truth was revealed. My friends and I were out riding out bikes and saw a dead squirrel in the road. Kid logic said picking that carcass up with some sticks, carrying it to a random front step and doing a ding-ding ditch was a good idea. About a week later we notice a for sale sign in that house. To this day I'm suspicious this poor family thought they were being targeted by some sociopath and noped the fuck out of there. Maybe a resident of that house killed the squirrel and they freaked the fuck out thinking it was some shamanic curse that caused the squirrel to come back. My cousin and I were like 7-ish or so and playing upstairs in a room by ourselves. My aunt left her sewing machine in there ready to go. We were fascinated by how fast the needle moved up and down when we stepped on the foot pedal. Then we had the idea to see who could get their finger out of the way before the needle started moving. He went. Safe. I went. Safe. He went. Blood shot out and screaming commenced. Could have just stitched up the wound. Be a dumptish. Looked at naked girls my own age because I thought that was what you were supposed to do. Sometimes I look back and think how much of my dad's life I could have fucked up by innocently doing this. Yeah, I tried to do the same thing once when I was much younger. I'm 15 now, and I was absolutely scared shitless for a solid week of how I was gonna explain this to the cops who would inevitably show up on our doorstep. Edit, yo, thanks for the silver. Although now I am definitely screwed if I ever wanna tell someone how I got my first award. Edit 2, holy fucking shitlemayo, now it's even worse. Oh well, karma over social life. The fact that you did that / sort it out wasn't fucked up. The fact that it was available was fucked up. I'd wager most guys who are around 28 to 32 now probably did with the way the internet was when we were hitting puberty. 2000 to 2006 was basically the Wild West of the internet. I know I did. Fucking LimeWire, man. I saw shit I didn't even know was a thing. I had no idea some women were into fucking dogs before LimeWire threw that in my face. My stepmom was abusive to me, so when she'd fall asleep I'd say mean things to her hoping she'd hear it in her dreams. More stupid than fucked up. This is cute and sad. Don't worry, karma came around to her. Threw 2 big bags of hamster bedding through my fan and acted like a news forecaster and acted like it was snowing and parents woke up to my room being covered in over an inch of bedding. Needless to say I didn't own the hamster anymore. This one made me laugh hardcore. Then, wonder what happened to the hamster. Gary was relocated to another family, haha. I helped a Jewish kid steal a Christmas tree. He complained his family never had a Christmas tree. I feel like this could be the plot of a movie. One time I peed in my cousin's ear from the top bunk. The sniper. My older brother pissed me off, so I pissed in a super soaker. Dominance. What's with kids peeing on each other? We had to suspend 2 girls this summer at camp because they filled milk cartons with their own pee and dumped it on other kids. I don't know if it would be considered fucked up, but my brother and I made homemade darts drum push pins, the pins used to hold dress shirts at stores, and would throw them at each other. They would stick in our skin and wiggle and we would laugh our asses off. Holy shit, I remember doing something similar. I remember I'd get those thumbtacks, put each one in that middle part of your fingers and go around 5-starring all my friends. We used to lock up in the figure 4 leg lock on the front room floor. Maybe mom and dad thought it was funny because we would reverse it, then the next person would reverse it, and we were just sitting there screaming, hollering out, laughing pain, funny pain. My brothers and I figured out that if you pulled the suction cup off of Earth darts, you could put a push pin, the colored ones for a corkboard, in it and would fire normally. And of course we shot the crap out of each other. We defiantly did this in the UE dorms. For a week or 2, the wooden doors were just absolutely plastered in pin darts. When I was around 7 I shit in a cup and gave it to my brother, who was in high school, to eat it and told him it was chocolate popcorn. Long story short, he did not eat it. Did something similar. I shit and pissed in a bottle of iced tea to make it look like iced tea before I gave it to my sister. She threw it out immediately. I also used to wipe shit on the walls when my parents got divorced. Then penciled myself black one day in 8th grade before they suspended me. I was a rebel child who hated everything. You doing better now? I took a dump in a plastic bag and hid it in my closet for reasons. Also used to stick my wang out between the curtains of my bedroom window after bedtime when I first started getting boners because the risk of being seen was thrilling. I lived on a busy street. Guess I was a born exhibitionist. What happened to the bag? My parents had to have found it. I went to check on my pet turd one day and it was no longer there. We never spoke of it. They've both passed, so I will never know who found it or what happened to it. Life's mysteries.